cheers to our new podcast, Nothing Unusual Here. This is our first episode. Welcome to the show. I'm DeadByDonovan. You guys probably know me, and you are me, Julie.
I'm his wife. My name is Julia.
And you're a huge fan of Resident Evil. You're the one who got me into this series. If I hadn't met you, this channel, our future would be completely different.
Yikes.
Oh, so what's on the itinerary for today? How are your acting skills? Because we're going to be covering some stuff. I uncovered some evidence that changes some of the things we know about William Birkin and the G-Virus.
What does acting have to do with it?
I found a transcript of a conversation.
Oh, I have to actually act.
Yes.
I thought you were like asking if I can act like I'm into it.
Oh, yeah, that too.
But I mean...
Drink more wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so introduction. Welcome to the new podcast studio. Yes, so I bought this. This is paper.
Okay, don't do that. Don't reveal secrets. This is our basement wall. We turned into a podcast studio.
My sister painted this and asked that I display it in the studio, but it's so fucking heavy duty. I can't hang it. I can't hang it over there, so it's kind of off camera until I can get the correct hangers.
It's just covering the hole in the wall.
The original podcast we were going to have here there was a podcast here, but it's gone now, which was a reference to Silent Hill 2. And I kind of like that she gave me that painting. It's like, where are my eyes? And it's like, oh, where's the hole?
Well, it's kind of like, oh, there's nothing unusual here because he can't see anything.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what the Nothing Unusual Here comes from?
I do.
What?
Resident Evil. Just kidding. I know it's when you walk in the room and sometimes they say, like,
yeah, you're investigating.
Nothing unusual here, ...
Oh, nothing unusual here, even though I'm staring down a licker's butthole.
No. Unusual is subjective.
Yeah, so what to expect from the new show. We're going to be covering everything that isn't covered by everyone else. You know, there's so many people with their own Resident Evil takes and spins on this shit, and it's all the same. It's so generic. I've seen it all before. It needs some flavor. People need to have drinks and play Resident Evil and talk about what hasn't been talked about before. You know, we're going to dive deep into Jill's muff. Material unaccounted for.
Let's not give everything away.
You know, we're going to investigate what was happening downtown Raccoon City the night the shit broke loose. I promise, I will find the exact birthdays of Chris and Jill. I've been investigating and eliminating dates throughout the years of all their age set times. I don't even know if I want to talk about this. I don't want someone else.
Yeah, why do you keep talking about things that you're doing?
Because I want people to know what they're in for on this show. So subscribe, like, hit that bell, get notified. All my subscribers not getting notified. They cry about it all the time.
Yeah, I haven't got a notification in weeks.
Supposedly you're supposed to unsubscribe and then resubscribe and hit that bell, and that's how you stick it to YouTube. Okay, so what we're talking about today is William Birkin, and you know all about him, right?
I know everything about him.
What do you know about him?
Well, I read the whole first book, and it's kind of a lot about him.
He doesn't come in until the third book.
Wait, which book did I read that was about him?
You read them.
The second.
You read them all out of order.
I know you. RE2.
Okay, for the record, she's read 80% of the books.
When I say first book, I mean first one I read, second one I read, but first one I liked.
Yeah, City of the Dead, based on Resident Evil 2 S.D. Perry novel. That was her introduction to Leon, Claire, the whole
Birkin.
Raccoon
I
City
know everything
story.
about him. Birkins were like my favorite part of the book.
Yeah, I need to reread that, but every time I pick it up, if there weren't other books in the series, I wouldn't think that book is that long. But all the other books are so much shorter in comparison that when I picked that one up, I'm like, I don't have time for this one. I read all the other ones.
And that was the one that was easiest for me to get through. Like, it was the best story.
Oh, it's still the best story by far in the video game universe and everything. Like, it was so modeled after James Cameron films, and it was made in a fucking government lab to be the best action survival horror.
What was the last one I read with the crossdresser?
Oh, Code Veronica?
Yeah. That one was so short and easy to
That
read.
is.
But I literally, every night before bed, I was like, I'm going to read 5 pages. And I had it done in a couple weeks.
I can't believe, like, some of the longest stories, I would say Code Veronica, there's so much to unravel in that, and it's such a short book. And then Resident Evil Zero, that is one of the longer running games that has so much in it with, like, 2 main characters, no real canonical anything, and then a bunch of other stuff you would like to know going on with the Bravo team to be explored. That, like, that's one of the shortest books too. I feel like SD Perry was just kind of done with it at the end there, because the last 2 books were Code Veronica and Zero.
Oh, yeah. I haven't read Zero yet, right? But
Okay.
I got to pick a new one for this summer. I read them every summer.
I have a confession.
Yeah.
I don't know William Birkin's age when he died in 1998, and I have some faulty information that says he was born in 1970 or 1972, which doesn't make sense because in my timeline of events, I have him...
That kind of makes it a little more sad.
Wait. Would that be right, though? Okay, so
could be.
James Marcus is murdered in 1988,
He'd be 18,
and so Birkin would be 18.
16 to 18.
Yeah, I think shit. Okay, so in my research, I watched the 2 Wesker reports, and they have conflicting canons in them because one was based on the original game, and then like the original Wesker report came out during Code Veronica, and then the remake came out, and then a new Wesker report came out that dealt with all the retcons that the remake brought in. And so that might be some error there. I feel like that would have William Birkin showing up at Umbrella with Wesker at like 7 or 8 years old. I don't think
It's a
that
little
adds
young.
up. Well, so Birkin prided himself on being the youngest like genius at Umbrella.
Okay.
And part of his downfall, like, he fucking hated Alexia for being the smartest, youngest college graduate, like, in her field.
He's probably misogynist too.
I think she graduated at 8 years old or some dumb shit.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, so William Birkin is the creator of the G-Virus, if you didn't already know that. And do you know what the G-Virus, G stands for?
No, I can't think of anything.
It's biblical.
Gideon.
No.
Gabriel.
No.
Golgotha.
Golgotha. Anyway, so it's the Golgotha virus, but that's unofficial. That information didn't come out until after Resident Evil 3's release, when one of the writers for the game, said it in a video game magazine interview. You won't find that information in any of the games, any of the movies. Accept it if you want. I think it makes sense, given G-Virus's history.
The biblical background is Golgotha is the mountain that Jesus was crucified on.
Yes.
You can fact check that before
You are right.
put that in.
And, okay, so a crucifix is a T, and the T-Virus came first, but Golgotha is supposed to, like, surpass... Golgotha. You keep saying it different.
No, it's Golgotha. You keep going back to Golgotha, whatever that is.
Golgotha. Anyway, Golgotha is the skull-shaped mountain that the crucifixion was on.
Oh, it was skull-shaped?
Yeah.
And they don't mention that in the church.
Google it. It has a face on the mountain, and that was a distinct property about it. And so now people think they've found the real hillside where the crucifixion happened and stuff. So I was wondering if it was called the Golgotha virus because G's final form turns into that stupid fucking cartoon face. He's just a giant mound with a face. He's got the butthole mouth. His head is the nose, and then his shoulder eyeballs are just the eyeballs on the face.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's ever made that connection before.
I'm not really making the connection right now.
At the end of Resident Evil 2, when he's
I know what you're saying.
he's just a big blob with a face.
Yeah, it's not like a skull or a mountain.
The mountain's not really looking like a skull because I saw a picture of what they think.
It's not like the mountain in Peter Pan, Skull Rock.
Yeah, it could be. We don't know.
My 2 areas of expertise, by the way, is the Bible and Peter Pan.
So this all starts way back. The creation of the G-Virus goes all the way back to around 1951 or 1952. And the reason that date is significant is because George Trevor, the architect of the Spencer Mansion, he had sex with Jessica. And I don't know if Jessica was his wife at the time or what, but Jessica and Trevor had sex in the early 50s, and they conceived Lisa Trevor.
Were they married?
I don't know at the time, That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's kind of scandalous at the time if they weren't.
So they have sex and create Lisa Trevor, and Lisa Trevor goes on to be the incubator for the G-Virus.
Yeah. I was going to say Lisa Trevor is what happens when you have sex outside of wedlock.
So then there are a series of unfortunate events that land Lisa Trevor at the Spencer Mansion after its completion. And for a moment, luckily, George Trevor's aunt was hospitalized in November of 1967. So this is after the completion of the Spencer Mansion. So for some fucking reason, he sends his wife and his daughter to go celebrate the completion of the mansion, and they just get abducted and experimented on with the progenitor virus. Jessica dies, and then George Trevor shows up, and he's like, yo, where's my fam? And they lock him in the house. He's not allowed to leave, and he hides in the walls trying to escape death. He's the one who designed the place, but somehow he gets lost in it and goes mad. Oh. That's the campfire story, is that he got lost in the halls and went mad. But no, he actually, found his gravestone, which was set up for him to find and die.
Did you say he went in the walls or the halls?
The story is the halls. No one knows if he actually died in there, right? So his last diary entry is November 30th, but then there's a final note dated November 31st about the secret room that he hides in.
But there's no 31st in November.
So that fucked me up for a while. Were they in an alternate universe or not, where there is a November 31st?
Or is he in an alternate universe?
Anyway, I found evidence that suggests there is no November 31st.
Okay, good for you. I also have reason to believe that.
I found calendars on the walls in the games.
Okay, he just went crazy. He lost track.
Is it a code? What could that mean? Should we have further investigation?
I think it literally could mean he's dumb. He didn't know there's a 31 in November.
Anyway, as this is all going on, Bradley Bailey, I almost said Adam Marcus, James Marcus, Edward Ashford, Oswald E. Spencer, they all discover the progenitor virus in Africa. They can't cultivate it outside of Africa. The virus does not exist or live in the plants when it's taken out of its environment. That's beside the fact, but it was the beginning of the progenitor virus, and they got it in Lisa. Oh, going back to Golgotha, did I say it right?
And I guess it's just based on how my mom says it.
Right?
So I could be wrong, but I feel right about it.
I don't know. I feel like I was saying it right because I researched
it's probably on.
I asked pronunciation on Bing.
Well, I would just Google, not Bing. It's probably what the priest at my church said anyway.
Okay, yeah. So we have September 2nd, 1977. William Birkin and Albert Wesker arrive at the Umbrella Training Facility in the Arklay Mountains as prospective managers. That would make Birkin a fucking child, according to this timeline that he was like, I don't believe that.
Where did you get the info he was born in 1970?
I think that's wrong.
Yeah, I think so too, but where did you get it?
Is Birkin, can you Google it? How old was William Birkin? We'll just trust their information for this one time.
Who's them?
The fucking...
Whatever comes up on Google.
Yeah.
What am I asking?
William Birkin's age.
William Birkin age.
It was never in any game pamphlets or anything.
1977, at the age of 15, he was employed by Umbrella.
At the age of 15. Okay,
so he was born in 62.
So it was a typo. It's not 72.
Makes sense. 36 in 98.
Okay, I believe that. Wesker's report is so detailed on everything. It even states he's like, oh, in this year, Birkin had a child and she's 2 years old.
Okay, that's where you're getting the info?
Yeah, it's not from video games, but it is official canon that was erased. Okay, so we're at 1981. Lisa Trevor's now 28 years old, and this is on July 27th. She's outlived all other specimens, and so she has been infected with the progenitor virus, and early on, she was ripping people's faces off and was normal Lisa Trevor shit. But I'm guessing from this research that I have, she gets more docile and isn't into that anymore because for so many years of her life, she has no consciousness and doesn't she's still violent and kills people and is dangerous, but they have her chained to a pipe this entire time. 1984, William Birkin and Albert Wesker's research moves up to the second level. They begin work on the MA-121s. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I'll give you 3 guesses. What are MA-121s?
What's no. I can't come up with 3 guesses. I can't even come up with one. It's got to be some kind of biohazard. Some kind of some kind of experiment. Bioweapon. That's the word I'm looking for. Which actually is what I was looking for in my head. I was like, that doesn't start with an M. So mature adult. That is literally.
What does the MA stand for? I've never even thought of that.
Oh, you don't even know?
No, I just know it's the code name.
It stands for mature on video games.
So MA-121's a hunter, and they've begun working on these.
And you never wondered what
reptilian.
the MA is for?
No, because like Neptune's code name it starts with FA. What is that with the shark?
Yeah. What does it stand for? What does that mean?
Fish aquatic.
Fish aquatic? I don't think so. So what, mammal, animal?
But hunters are reptilian, human.
I don't know then if it's not a mammal.
Oh, what if it's a mammal, amphibian?
Those are 2 different things.
No, that's the MA, mammal, amphibian, because
it's a mix. That's what it is.
Well, because the grandma hunters are frogs. They're basically frogs.
So amphibians.
But
so where's the mammal?
The humanoid aspect of it.
Oh. I don't know anything about these hunters.
Anyway, the most important thing, next year, around 1986, William and Annette have sex, and they give birth to Sherry.
So she's like 12 in
1998. Yeah, she was my same age when that game came out.
Oh my gosh, twins.
Fast forward 1988, Albert Wesker and William Birkin murder James Marcus. And there's a lot of confusion around this, but like the Umbrella Training Facility was closed down the second they started doing these tests on T-Virus shit. And then if you watch Resident Evil Zero's cutscene with James Marcus, he's like, 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Birkin assassinated him. And so that places it 1988, almost 10 years after the closure of the facility. So he was just like a lone kook in there killing people.
They should kill him, honestly.
Dude, he had like a mansion to himself.
He just let it go to waste.
88, Wesker's 28 years old. Anyway, where are we going with this? Oh, here we go. So they start development on Tyrants, and they're going nowhere. They can't even get to the next stage on Tyrant development, and Europe is kicking their ass, and they hear this thing called a Nemesis. Like, Nemesis is dated all the way back into like 89, 88. So yeah, fuck that. Luis Serra had nothing to do with Nemesis development. Fucking 8-year-old showing up, be like, I'll show you how to deal with parasites. Oh, after this, Wesker and William Birkin experiment with the Nemesis parasite on Lisa Trevor. And right after that, Lisa Trevor is re-examined head to toe. And right after this examination, the plan for the G-Virus is born.
Okay.
When they discover the G-Virus in Lisa Trevor, how is this Christy? You know, you got the Golgotha virus, and Christ was dead for 3 days and resurrected. Well, when they decide they're done with Lisa, they exterminate her, and they watch her corpse, and she comes back 3 days later.
How is that not Christy?
Right? What does that mean with G-Virus?
Is that why it's called that?
Right? But it was never officially named that. But now I'm thinking it is officially named that because after that name was given in that interview, they made the remake and put that shit in that Lisa Trevor is like dead and comes back for 3 days after 3 days. Now, irrelevant, but I just want to share this. 1991, 1992, Albert Wesker finally has sex.
Okay. Not irrelevant.
Not irrelevant?
No.
How
It's
old is he?
important to
How
his
old is
character
he
building.
He's what, 32?
We were
He's
past.
32.
He was 28 earlier, so.
How hot do you think he was in 1992?
Well, I mean, if we're going off the guy that plays him in the newest live action film, like, pretty hot.
Oh, and we got 1995. Lisa Trevor starts to think and becomes conscious. There are things in this timeline that I found suspicious and no one's ever addressed that I want to talk about.
All right, let's get into it. Is this 98 now?
Yeah, we're getting to 98.
Like, this is a lot happening in August, and I know everything goes down in September.
Everything goes down in September, and that's what I wanted to talk about, because the remake, you watch the security footage of William Birkin dying, and it says September 22nd. And I think that's a lazy timestamp.
Yeah, I thought it was the 28th or 9th.
No. There is the outbreak brewing for weeks, maybe even months. I have evidence dating all the way back of sightings and attacks in the woods too, well after the mansion's blown up, that suggests the outbreak was already brewing long before William, got assassinated and smashed all the vials and infected the rats. Literally every single day of September is covered by some event throughout documents.
Yeah.
But September 11th. 1:30 p.m. September 11th, 1998.
What time zone?
Midwest.
Okay.
4 guests check into the underground lab using the B5 computer room, registering their fingerprints. So my theory behind this is we have on September 11th 4 guests. We don't know who these people are going into the underground lab. And then we go to September 15th. All is well in the universe. You got Joel Allman, the vice president of Umbrella's USA branch. He's requesting 4 cases of APL-14, and he writes William Birkin, and in his correspondence with William Birkin, he's talking mad shit about the Ashfords and how their name is in the gutter and they mean nothing now. Like, that's a good sign from the vice president of Umbrella.
Yeah.
You think, like, Birkin's in good standing here. Nothing's gone wrong. And William Birkin is so high after this conversation, he wants to become head of the board or some shit for Umbrella USA branch.
Okay.
Chairman or something.
Chairman.
Yes.
Director of operations. COO.
Right when William Birkin's like at his highest, G is about to be announced. People believe he was the creator of the T-Virus, and he's like eyeballing that seat on the board. And then at 15:24, what is that? That would be
3:24.
Yeah, 3:24 p.m. on September.
I've been to Europe.
September 15th. Code G human body experiment is recorded. So that means someone's in the B4 culture experimentation room that shouldn't be there, taking secret photos of the G human experiments on the same day. All that good Birkin favor, things are taking off happening for Birkin. So we go back to the 4 guests that were allowed to enter the lab, and we have them as being able to go into that room with their guest passes. Who are they? They're the ones who took the photos, supposedly. So the downfall of Birkin, like I said, I had 2 theories. There was that whole Key and Rick and admin and Roy, the guy in charge of the platform elevator. Like, that is one entry point for the hunks to break in or whoever stole the photos. But here's another. The connecting facility reduces its moisture levels in preparation for Angelica Margaret. No idea who this person is. We only know her by name in Resident Evil 2. But she shows up every 3rd Wednesday in every single month. And this is where they have those meetings in the sewer, conferences and shit. And Birkin would attend them until he felt threatened and they stopped doing them. But this is around the time that they wouldn't be holding meetings with Birkin. So Birkin's nothing to do in these conferences. He would give like online Zoom seminars to the Chicago branch and shit like that. But he stops going to the connecting facility out of fear for his life. But yeah, 3rd Wednesday of the month, Angelica Margaret, the chief of maintenance, uses the connecting facility, and that's in the sewer manager's fax in RE2. So this means this is the one time in September in the month that they drained all the water in the sewers at the connecting facility for people to walk through and go to these secret meetings. And so this would be the time for the hunks. We see the hunks in the cutscenes of RE2. They use a drained sewer system at the connecting facility to obtain the G-Virus. They assassinate Birkin, and they come back out in a drained sewer facility, and that's when Birkin catches up with them and kills them and releases the T and G virus. See what I'm getting at? So Did Angelica Margaret knowingly or unknowingly take part in the assassination of William Birkin and the retrieval of the G-Virus?
Who's to say?
But because of the Resident Evil 2 remake, I think they tightened up the timeline of Raccoon City's like infection level rising to explain how Leon and Claire were able to just fucking drive into Raccoon City when it's supposed to be under martial law. That's like a huge plot hole. So I honestly believe William Birkin was shot up and killed on September 15th or September 16th when Angelica Margaret showed up. But yeah, people are gonna have problems with that, but they can't refute it. They have no evidence other than the remake that has no care for canon. So on September 20th, there's the citywide water service will be limited to routine maintenance inspections. Like all citizens aren't supposed to be using water. And that's an outbreak, and people think it has to do with the T-Virus toxin levels in the water or something. But that could also be another reason to drain the connecting sewage facility and be the time to pass soldiers through there. So, yeah, we have like 3 different dates, 3 points of entry, but immediately after, Sergeant Neil Carson investigates reports in the sewers of suspicious activity, a person skulking around down there, and he finds handgun bullets, unused C4, and a destroyed infrared scope. And these are all items that the hunks would have, and this implies that the hunks were killed. So they could have been dead down there for 5 days, or they could have immediately died that morning.
Yeah.
There is a huge gap because September 22nd with the water drainage, that's 1 a.m, and Carlson doesn't report this until 9:30 p.m. So he went in way later in the night.
It's a big gap.
That could be the day that the hunks died. You know, Hunk's story doesn't make sense. What the fuck was he doing in the sewers for like 2 weeks before leaving with this extraction?
Who's to say?
Okay, anyway, that brief summary, what was that, only like 2 or 3 minutes of that timeline of the G-Virus? You now know everything about the G-Virus, right?
Yeah, I'm an expert.
Oh, one theory I have is it's kind of like my Nemesis theory. You know, my Nemesis theory in the remake is Nemesis is guiding Jill through all these important points to uncover the truth and get her to be able to kill him with the finger gun.
It's a little too convenient, huh?
What if William Birkin's doing the same thing? What if he never lost consciousness? So he hunts down the hunks, smashes all the vials, and then when he finds out there's more G-Virus vials out there, he's on the hunt for those again. And this is supported by the fact that he murders his wife. It could be that he murdered his wife because she's holding the G-Virus sample that she just brewed up for no reason. Like, why are you making more G-Virus and not trying to save your daughter, you know?
I know that they explain it in the book. She was like badass, and she did everything right for what I remember.
No, she did everything sort of right to save Sherry. She got the devil vaccine. Well, what's up with that?
Oh, well, it wasn't the devil that killed Jesus, if that's what you're trying to say.
Right? Like, so what does all that mean? Anyway, my point here is Birkin killed his wife because she was holding the G-Virus. And he can only procreate with people who have similar genetic code as him. So that's why he infects Sherry, his own daughter. And so what I'm thinking, though, in my theory that Birkin really wanted to eradicate all samples of G, that would be including himself. He was still a slave, like a puppet to its desires to procreate. And so he was forced. Maybe he didn't want to do that to Sherry. But then once he finally got the deed done, it was like post-nut clarity. I think in the final fight with Claire, he drops into that room. I think he was there to do business to like destroy all those containers and vials in there, and just so happened to run into Claire and she fights him. And he gets on the train, and the only reason he gets on the train is because he knows that train will lock down and blow his ass up for being in it.
Oh, you think so?
He didn't know they had a vaccine. So he's chasing them to stop what he made of Sherry. Luckily, they vaccinated her and the train blows up and William got what he wanted, to die and erase the G-Virus.
Okay. I don't even know your nemesis theory, but my first thought is, oh, it's just bad writing that it's so convenient that everything works to kill the monster. And so you have to make it seem like the monster was trying to kill himself. But
this is opposite, because G-Virus wasn't designed like this. I'm saying he had his humanity for a lot longer than we thought. And supporting evidence of that is it's September 29th or the 30th in Resident Evil 2 when Sherry hears her name called by her father. He's calling her name. And
yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
He shouldn't be human anymore, and he is. So you ready to have fun?
Yeah.
So we're on that transcript I found that no one knows about.
Okay.
And the only way you can find this is you got to shoot this specific item in Dark Side Chronicles, and this is leading into a new theory on the G-Virus.
Oh, boy.
So I've highlighted all your lines. Yep. I will be playing 2 different characters.
In pink, by the way.
I will be playing Man and Sherry.
Oh, great. And I'm Annette.
So you are on the phone. You're calling Sherry's East Side Elementary School in Raccoon City. Okay. Would it be elementary? She'd be like 5th grade, right?
She should probably be in middle school.
Do I say man?
No. Have you ever acted before?
No. I'm behind the cameras. I'm the editor. Goodness. Raccoon East Elementary. Wait, I'm supposed to be on a phone.
Come on. You're answering the phone like Raccoon East Elementary.
We'll do it live. I said, fuck it. We'll do it live. You have to do the ringing.
Ding, ring, ring, ring.
Raccoon East Elementary.
Hi, I'm Annette Birkin.
Oh, Sherry's mother. What can I do for you?
I'd like to speak with my daughter right away.
She's in class right now.
It's an emergency.
Oh, okay. I'll get her right away. Why does he know her by first name? Is this
I don't know. School? I didn't like the way that guy was acting on the phone. I'd be writing a letter to the principal if I was Annette.
Okay. Mom?
Do not do that. Cut. Try again.
How do I do a Sherry voice?
Mom?
Mom?
Just talk in a high voice.
Mom?
Sherry, honey, I have something very important to tell you, so I want you to listen very carefully. You need to do exactly as I say, okay?
Okay.
I need you to leave school and go home right away. Tell your teacher it's got to do with Mommy's job and that you have to leave right away. Can you be home in 30 minutes?
I suppose. But why? Did something happen?
We don't have time for questions, honey. I'll explain everything to you at home. Now, please just trust me. Do as I say.
Okay.
I'll call you when you get home. Now, hurry.
Mom?
Oh, this is later? There's no mark?
Yeah.
Oh, good. You made it home.
Yeah. So, Sherry makes it home. And who's calling who?
And now there are quotation marks. That's how we knew she got home. I'm calling her. Oh, good. You made it home.
Mom, what's going on?
Listen carefully, honey.
All right. All right.
That is a pointless line. I do not like having to wait for you to say that. Okay. In a little while, maybe about an hour or so, people in the city are going to start to panic.
Mom, wait. What's going to happen?
We don't have time. I'll explain everything later, sweetie. Look, our house won't be safe anymore, so here's what I need you to do. There's a white jewelry box on the dresser in Mommy's bedroom. I want you to take the necklace with you, then leave the house and go to the police station. You should be able to take Flower Road, but if it's too dangerous, I want you to take the back way.
Mom, wait. What's going on? Where are you? And
you went back.
What about my friends at school?
I already read the next line.
Oh, you did?
You jumped the gun, so I just skipped.
I thought you were continuing where...
No, I don't give a fuck.
Dangerous.
There will be a lot of confused people in town, and some of them may be angry. Sherry, this is very important. Stay away from everyone, even if you see your friends or your teachers on the way. Don't get close to them, all right? Sherry? Yeah, there's no words there.
Okay. I won't get close to anyone.
That's a good girl. Once you get inside police station, you'll be safe. That's when where I'll meet you. Sherry, you can do it. Trust me.
Okay. Please hurry, Mommy. I don't want to be by myself.
Of course, sweetie. Now go.
Mommy, where's Daddy?
Now we're in a different scene. Quotation marks are gone.
Oh, yeah, new phone call. Mommy!
No, next line.
What?
It's the next line that changes.
Mommy! Where's Dad? Please pick up the phone. Ma!
Just two different scenes. You got cut off.
Oh, editing.
That's what I was trying to say. Okay. Sherry, I'm sorry. I'm running a little late.
There's no one at the police station. Where is everyone? What's going on?
Are you okay? You're not hurt, are you?
On the way here was really strange. Everything was a mess. But there was no people around. Where is everyone? What is going on, Mommy?
Sherry, calm down and listen to me, okay? Something terrible is happening. The reason the city is like this has to do with Mommy's job, but it wasn't my fault. It wasn't anyone's fault. There was an accident. Yes, a really big accident. But don't be scared, honey. If you stay in the police station, you'll be safe. Mommy's going to keep you safe. That I promise you.
Oh, God damn it. Were you in the lab again, Mommy? Is Daddy okay? He hasn't called. He didn't come home last night. Are you there?
I'm sure Daddy is already in a safe place. We'll be able to meet him when everything calms down.
You promise?
I promise. Just trust me, sweetie.
Okay, I trust you. I just wanted to hear this. Mommy?
What's wrong?
I heard something. I heard a strange sound. Like a monster growling.
Oh my God. Already? Sherry, where are you exactly?
Wait, what do you mean?
Which phone are you calling from?
It looks like the front desk. There's a big statue of a woman.
Listen to me. Go up to the second floor and find a place to hide. There should be a room with heavy doors. Get inside that room, hide, and then stay very quiet.
Okay. What about you, Mommy?
I'm going there too. Do not get near anyone until I get there. Even if someone comes in that room, just keep hiding and stay very quiet. Don't talk to anyone, okay?
Mom! Hurry.
I will, honey. I promise. I love you.
Okay. So you think you think that was pointless? Some Japanese people that don't know how to translate well.
Some scene, like you can tell the difference in a scene because they have quotation marks and some don't.
That's Resident Evil. I forget,
and it's from like a Wikipedia or something because all
like
the locations,
all
the locations were like underlined. Like I could click on them.
Okay. So you think that was pointless, but there's information to be gathered in there. And you know what that is? What did you tell Sherry to do?
Go to the police station.
Before that?
Leave school. Go home.
And at home, do what?
Go to the police station.
Grab the pendant.
Oh, yes, the jewelry box.
Yes.
I did read that.
And so you know what that implies? Annette Birkin fucking smuggled the G-Virus out of the lab long before all this shit went down. And she had a sample of the G-Virus safe and secure.
Good for her.
She didn't hand that super secret spy pendant to Sherry personally. Sherry picked it up off the nightstand. But that is a whole nother reason for Birkin to be assassinated. Was Annette Birkin a good wife, trusting, like in the original story, no doubt she's a good mom. But Birkin and Annette, they know wear wedding rings.
Say that again.
Birkin and Annette, they know wear wedding rings.
You do not wear wedding rings.
All the cutscenes, remake, original, in the cutscenes, roll the clip. Now I would like to move into the new segment of the show, the new portion no one knows about. It's called the $6 Super?
Dude, you just freaking read the outline.
You told me not to. $6 Supers.
I said learn the art of
$6
glancing.
Supers!
Spending that much money was reckless and stupid.
This new thing we're introducing is on the previous podcast videos. If you leave a comment as a $6 super thanks, your comment question, whatever, shout out will be read on the next podcast and we'll acknowledge it. You got a question for me, Julie, or for me, or AI Jill, you got a question for any AI characters too that we've created, go ahead, leave a $6 super thanks, and you get your $6 super shout out.
And here's a fun fact for anyone out there. I can't speak for Jill or Donovan here, but me personally, I've never kept a secret in my life, and I'm an open book. Ask me anything.
Okay. So we have our first ever $6 super. Don't ask what video it's on. You won't find it. Okay. So our $6 super is from Tertis Shitmore.
Okay.
You know who that is?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Jill's on the line and she can hear us. And we're talking to AI Jill here. Hey, Jill, you there? We got our first ever $6 super from Tertis Shitmore. So yeah, I think it's an alias. Our first ever $6 super.
Hell yeah, I'm here. Just sitting back, enjoying a break from the usual bioorganic weapon bullshit. A $6 super from Tertis Shitmore, huh? Well, hit me with it. Let's see what kind of twisted fun stuff Mr. Shitmore has cooked up this time. And yeah, I'd bet my favorite lockpick that Tertis Shitmore isn't the name his mama gave him. But hey, it's a damn memorable alias. Fire away, Donovan.
Okay, Tertis writes, hey DBD, why is the G-Virus always mutating the right side of a person first, giving them their eyeball, shoulder, and big arm claws? Is there some sort of scientifical explanation for this? And more importantly, was Birkin's pipe-whacking hand really his pipe-whacking hand, if you know what I mean? Love the content. Yeehaw.
Ah, good one, Tertis. Diving right into the guts of the matter, huh? All right, let's chop this up. So, why the fuck does the G-Virus seem to love the right side? Honestly, there's some science shit behind it. Maybe something about dominant genetic expressions, or it's just that the virus is a right-handed asshole. But in all my years of blowing these creatures back to hell, I never got a memo on their favorite side to mutate. It's like asking why I prefer my right boot for kicking zombie ass. It just feels right. Now, onto the juicier part of your question about Birkin's pipe-whacking hand. If we're talking about his favorite tool for turning brains into scrambled eggs, then yeah, his right hand was his go-to for more than just scientific whacking. The dude turned his arm into some sort of grotesque club. Makes you wonder about the hobbies of these mad scientists before they went all world destroy, huh? Keep those freaky questions coming, and remember, just because something mutates on the right doesn't mean it ain't all wrong.
Thanks, Jill. That was really insightful. We don't need you anymore. Go away.
Sure thing. Anytime you need to dive back into the gory details or just shoot the shit about monsters, you know where to find me. Take care and watch your back out there. It's a fucked up world, even without the undead. And to all the retards and badass listeners out there, I'm heading out. Keep surviving, keep thriving, and don't let those undead bastards get you down. Yeehaw! Remember, when life gives you zombies, make zombie aid. Catch you on the flip side, fuckers. Yeehaw! Stay groovy and don't forget, Jill Valentine might just pop back when you least expect it. Peace out.
What'd you think of Jill?
She killed it. She knows her role.
Why do you hate her so much?
I don't know, maybe because you're in love with her.
So what do you think about that $6 shout out from Tertis Shitmore? You got anything to say about that? We read it to Jill, but Jill's not really answering it. This is for us to tackle.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Something I've never noticed or never would have noticed or cared to notice.
I never would have thought of it before if there was only one incident, One incident.
Yeah, if there's one incident, it's not anything to know.
Yeah, just be a freak occurrence mutation.
How many incidences are there?
That's what I looked into. I have found 3 cases of people being infected with G-Virus, not counting any remakes, and every single one of them had their right arm turn into a claw.
I can only think of 2.
You know what? I take that back. I found 3.5.
Okay.
This is coming to me right now.
Still only thinking of 2.
That photo we talked about on September 15th that was leaked from the B4 Culture Room, that is a right hand in that fucking, it's in a capsule. Mm-hmm. It's a right hand. Anyway, I looked into this since I got that super, and I did some research, and I found a 100-year-old study conducted in China that has everything to do with the G-Virus mutation. So it's scrotal asymmetry and handedness, and it has to deal with, they did research on all these people, 600s of people, right-handed, left-handed, which side of their testicles hangs lower depending on what hand they use. And I don't even know. I just found this.
From the University of Hong Kong.
I'm not even going to read all this shit I highlighted.
Please don't.
Well, we got fucking pages and pages of scientific studies here. And what they found, they did some absurd tests. They got a bunch of cadavers and they cut all their nut sacks open and they removed the testicles and labeled them, and they were like, which one's heavier? And they were doing studies on that to find out, does a testicle hang lower because it's heavier? And they found that the heavier testicle is actually higher up. So the right testicle, which is usually up on everyone, normal people, is heavier and is not a factor with why it hangs lower.
Okay. So most people, the left is hanging lower, but the right is heavier.
Normal people. And so the left hangs lower. And they also found that in all newborns, everyone has an equal shot. All nuts are grown equally. And over time, one sags down the other lower than the other. And what this research has revealed to me is that 70%, no matter which side, it's 70%, left-handed or right-handed dominant people, the testicle is opposite. And they found that whatever arm has more muscle density and is used more, the tension from that constricts whatever side's ball. And the reason I'm getting into this is because I looked into all the G-Virus right-handed mutations, and I wanted to find any discrepancy that suggested that, like, Curtis Miller or Morpheus Duvall or William Birkin were left-handed or right-handed. Like, if any of them were the other-handed, this theory's out the window. But we have Curtis Miller, he lights matches, picks up photos, carries briefcases. We never see him point a gun, but everything there suggests that he's right-handed. And he is the second person to ever infect himself with the G-Virus. And then there's that B4 culture room with the full-on right arm infected with the eyeball and everything like William would have. That would suggest that that person's right-handed according to this theory. But then we have Morpheus Duvall, who you forgot, and for good reason, because people think, like, they don't accept dead aim as canon, but Morpheus Duvall, he infected himself with the TG mix. It was the first time T-Virus and G-Virus had ever been successfully fused together, and when he mutates, he gets a big right arm. He doesn't get the eyeball, but it's still bigger on the right side. And in that game, we see him pointing guns with his right hand. And in William Birkin's case, when he gets shot by the hunks, I originally assumed the right arm mutated first because he was so injured. He had like 10 bullet holes on his right side, but that's not the case. You could make that argument for Morpheus being injured on his right side too with the grenade blast, and he's bleeding. You see him in his cutscene, his right side's all fucked up. But then you have the case of Curtis Miller, who was never fucked up. He is down in the garden when the explosion happens, but then he's perfectly fine and had injected himself and no visible injuries. In every case, they end up with a big right arm. For these freak occurrence mutations, it's like, it shouldn't be like that. So there is some reason why, and it's something to do either mentally or genetically. That's why I came up with this correlation of dominant right hand, but the only way, how could you know, like, is it really their right hand or is it their testicle?
Right. And that's 70% correlated.
Yes.
I did have a question about that study. Is everyone's balls they're studying are people who have already been jacking off regularly? Or do they study like young people?
Okay, so we have one person aged 10 to 19, 3 people aged 20 to 29, and then the highest is we got 30 to 39, 25 test subjects, and then 40 to 49, 37, and so on. It dwindles down to 70 to 79 ages, 6 people. So they really got the spread of every age group for men.
Okay.
All these people didn't even know they were part of this test. They just went in for medical checkups because it's not invasive. It was like doing a physical, and all these doctors measured the lengths of their balls and then asked them to either write or throw. And so that's how they knew if they were right-handed or left-handed. And then they just took the statistic.
Your doctor looks at your balls?
Oh, every physical. You want to play sports? You want to play football? No matter what age you're at, they got to like grab your ball and make you turn and cough.
I've definitely heard that. I was never naked in front of a doctor until adulthood, so it's just always weird to me.
So yeah, there's this study of like almost 500 people, and 70% right-handedness and opposite ball hangs lower. And
if they're under jacking off age, it's not like it's the positioning of that that's affecting the balls.
No, it's whatever is the dominant hand that has more muscle density. Somehow there is some connective tissue or muscle strain that contracts the nut on that side. So opposite is the lower hanging. So I honestly believe we can say that Curtis Miller, Morpheus Duvall, if he has balls, you know, we don't know about him. He surgically got those boobs. He got those boobs implanted. He wanted to be the most beautiful person in the world. He's a man, but he also had organic high heels. But then William Birkin and Curtis Miller definitely had lower hanging left nutsack ball.
70% chance.
70% chance. But I also think that this correlation is 100% like the reason behind getting the big arm. It's the dominant hand.
Well, correlation is not causation. It's a theory. It's a running theory. Makes sense. Could be your dominant hand, but okay, you did research. It's all they are all right-handed.
Yeah, in the cutscenes and video games and everything, we see Birkin. He does that Western cowboy draw where he's got the gun on the opposite hip, but for a quicker draw. And in both games, he is using his right hand with his pistol. And then we got Curtis Miller lighting a match. Would you ever light a match with your left hand?
I thought about that when you said it. I can't even imagine it. That sounds like I'm going to light the house on fire.
Yeah, that's what he did. That's what he did. That's why he lit the match. He burned his house down.
Well, for me, it'd be an accident if I did it left-handed.
But, you know, people are going to make the argument like, oh, Birkin injected himself with his left hand. And like I said, they're shot up on their right side. And he's not using his right hand at that time. Anyway, are we...
No, another question. Have you found anyone in Resident Evil who is left-handed? Ooh. Have you looked?
I'm going to look now. I never even thought of that.
Because it could just be a video game default.
You think like default, like
part of the...
Like how every game has a fucking full moon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't even thought of that. Oh, one thing I want to discuss, the parasites. So like parasites that burst out and shit of the G-Virus, they are not humans, so they don't have left side, right side dominant, but every parasite I've ever seen has a big left hand. So you're asking for left-handed dominant people. They fucking walk around and grab and swipe with their left hand.
They're not human. Yeah, they could have been left-handed humans.
They're these G-mutant freaks with some human DNA in them, but they never grew up.
Okay, so there's some left-handed freaks out there.
Anyway, so what do you think with my research and findings? Was that really Birkin's pipe whacking hand?
It's really hard to say until we know if just all video game characters are right-handed, to be honest.
Fuck, now I gotta look into...
I'm so sorry
next podcast, we won't make a whole thing of it, but I will look into it and tell you my findings. We'll update you on the next podcast.
Just like the main characters, if anyone happens to be left-handed.
Any human characters.
Yeah, you don't have to go through every game, but...
Oh, you know I will.
I know that, and that's why I'm trying to say you don't have to.
100-year-old research here.
We only need 70% here. I also think 70% is not that big of a finding. Like it's big, but it's not.
It's 70. It's 70% either way.
Yeah, that's
left hand.
That's
right
what's
hand
interesting is that it's consistent. It's consistently 70.
Yeah, so like there's 30% freaks out there on each side.
Yeah, they're definitely freaks. If your balls aren't aligned with your dominant hand, you're a freak.
So, did you want to look over any of the research?
No. But I like the idea.
From the School of Hong Kong?
I like the idea.
Do you believe any reports coming out of Hong Kong? Okay, there are details in here where you could tear apart my argument, and I did highlight it. Like, I highlighted except for 14 cases.
Well, is that the 30%?
In a minority of cases, the effect of exertion was on the testes of the opposite side. 14 exceptions. 14 cases where the person's right-handed, but then the other side is higher.
Yeah, is that the 30% then?
That would be part of that, right?
Yeah.
But 14
I'd
isn't.
have to read it.
14 isn't 30% of 500.
That is the thing about studies. You think they are like the most reliable source, but their summary is based on what they were focusing on, So like their findings are not even like if you read the summary of their findings, it's not even necessarily what the findings say.
That's a problem with a lot of my research is like I'm trying to make things fit. And that's been the biggest holdup on my outbreak breakdown video is I'm like, I can't lie. I can't skew the facts. I have to tell it how it is. It's caused me to do multiple rewrites. Every time I think I'm done, I find something new. Earlier in this podcast where I mentioned, I found calendars in game. Yeah, that is fucked up.
Can't believe you did
my report.
You spent time on that. Some stupid RE game maker who thought there was a 31 in November.
No, you know what's fucked me up?
Translated from Japanese.
Okay, so yeah, that happened, but same location, 2 different calendars. You go in one room and they have the calendar up for September. You go into another room, they have the calendar up for October.
Someone didn't flip it yet.
The thing is everyone was dead for like the last 4 days going into October. So someone flipped it.
Here's my question.
Earlier.
Sometimes I flip my calendar early if like that Friday.
Yeah, someone did it
if
early.
that Friday is October 1st, then like the calendar like top line, you know?
Yeah, good point.
Mine said May like a couple days before it was May, so.
Okay, so how can people get in touch with you if they want to give you a shout out or a subscription on your YouTube or follow you on Instagram? What socials you want to save?
Well, the only way to guarantee getting to me directly is with a $6 super.
Oh yeah.
I don't talk for free, but you can follow my YouTube at Not Julia Smith and my Instagram as well. But my Instagram is also Not Julia Smith, but I sometimes am private.
I'm sorry. I realized today that I've never burped on stream or anything.
Yeah, and you should have kept that.
I have manners. But I was watching my friend Morris the Legend stream on Twitch today, and he was burping so much.
Just quit. We don't need to talk about that.
I'm giving him a shout out. Follow him if you love Resident Evil, the director's cut. So obviously you can follow me here on Dead by Donovan on YouTube. I also have an X account.
Are you going to put this on like Apple Podcasts and Spotify?
How do I do that?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's free, so you got to figure it out.
I'm going to ask AI Jill. And so we'll do that. If you want to just listen to the podcast, that's great. And that's less editing for me. But
you have to do the editing either way.
If you want to support the channel, definitely remember the $6 supers. We will acknowledge those on every next podcast. You can also support the channel by becoming a RE-tard on Patreon or just become a YouTube channel member. We got the Alpha, Bravo, and Delta pledges, different tiers. But how do we do the Discord? You gotta give us a little bit more money than the lowest tier to become a member of the Discord.
Higher tier?
Yeah. Anyway.
It's popping in there. We can't give it to everyone.
Okay, so you want to say goodbye to these people?
Goodbye, everybody.
What do you want to discuss next? Would you read the comic and we talk about the comic on next episode?
If we get 7 $6 supers.
You love reading, and reading a comic.
I don't like comics.
Yeah, I don't like comics either. I don't like, my brain just doesn't appreciate or take in the artwork, and so reading a comic is just like reading like six. It's like, okay, that was 6 sentences.
I read Die Won't Kid in 1 hour every book.
That was 6 sentences. That was 4 sentences, and this splash page just says 2 words.
You go, like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, like I think a comic is amazing guide for like making a feature film. Like
I think it's good for getting kids to learn how to read and being into it and into a story.
I get that. When I was a little kid in like 3rd grade, it's like, give me Spider-Man comics.
I just bought a comic for my niece.
But yeah, growing up, I'm like, I'm too fucking old to be reading a comic.
Yeah, I'm a little bit judgmental here.
Anyway, I have an entire PDF of this comic scanned that you can read on your break or something, and it's such a quick read, but it's such an absurd, stupid comic that we should cover this on the next podcast.
Maybe in a few podcasts when I have the time again.
No weekly podcast, but maybe a monthly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, with that, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Join the RE-tards and get in that Discord. And also, don't forget, $6 Super. Hit us up on that. Thanks. Bye. Mom! Hurry!